What is at the heart of Christmas? We hear these sentences like, Jesus is the reason for the season. We hear, keep Christ in Christmas. But what does that mean, and how do we do that? So I invite you to join me in following the characters of our Christmas story, in exploring what is the heart of Christmas, and how can we participate in the Christmas miracle. First of all, think of Mary. No Christmas without Mary, isn't there? A teenager, young teenager. And then she gets the message from Angel Gabriel. And Angel Gabriel says, "You are it." And she said, "What?" And he says again, "You are it. God chose you. God favors you. God delights in you. You are the one whom God really wants to come to. And you are to carry God in your body." And then Mary is startled, she's terrified, she doesn't know what this means, and she asks, "How can this be?" So it's all like, whoa, way too much. It's almost like taking 3 steps back. It takes her time to get used to the message and to open up, but what she finally does is, she opens up and she says, "Here I am, very present. Come and use me, God." In the same way, I deeply believe that God chooses each and every one of us. God calls us by name and says, "You are my beloved." It's almost like in German. There's some people who have Mary as their middle name, even when they're men, male. Like, it's almost like, think of yourself as having a middle name of Mary. And God says, "You're it. You are to carry the treasure into this world. God wants to use you. That's your purpose, to carry the holy, to open yourself up, to be receptive to the living God, and to treasure and hold that in your heart." So your life, think about it. What are you called, specifically you, to give birth, to carry into this world? A very unique way, a very unique light that only you can shine, a very unique contribution that only you, specifically you, can bring to this world. I think that's what we can learn from Mary, saying yes to God, even when it's scary, even when it's not easy, even when it means like so much more to come. Second character, well, Joseph. No Christmas without Joseph. Or is there? Maybe. So Joseph is the one who kind of tries to keep a safe distance from Mary. When he hears Mary, teenager, pregnant by someone else, whoa, run for the hills. That's his initial response. Get out of it as fast as you can. This is tricky territory, never been there. So Joseph is the one who tries to get out of it. And isn't it sometimes like that for us when we face challenging situations? We think like, oh, not so sure I can face that. Not so sure I'm up to that. Then Joseph has this appearance of an angel and says, "Joseph, don't run, but turn toward Mary and the baby. They need you." So where and how can you, in your own unique way, turn to someone who is vulnerable, who is hurting, who needs your care? It is proven scientifically that children and youth who come from from families that are struggling, who face challenges at home, what do they need? They need one stable relationship with an adult to make it through the challenges. One person. To whom can you be that Joseph, turning toward, holding, treasuring, beholding, and wrapping, doing your small little part to make a difference for someone who is vulnerable, who is in need of care and love? Now, no Christmas without some kind, shape, or form of light, isn't there? Yeah. So this light, we are surrounded by darkness, and Christmas on purpose. Those of you who do not know, we had no idea when to celebrate Christmas. Early church, they were like, we knew exactly the date when Jesus rose from the dead. People were there to witness it. But when was Jesus born? No idea. So when the early people tried to figure out when should we celebrate Christmas, they settled on purpose in the darkest season of the year. The longest nights, the heaviest time when we feel like, it takes so long to make it through this winter, through this darkness, through this depression, through this throwing up your hands. I remember the Susquehanna Valley Youth Chorale after the Sandy Hook shooting. They recorded this beautiful song with candles, walking with a candle into the darkness. Carry a candle into the darkness. We have a choice. We can curse the darkness, or we can light one single candle. And Mother Teresa says, we reflect that light. It's that light that shines on us, that light that we shine on others, that we carry, that we are to carry into the darkness. And that's what vigils are all about, isn't it? In tragedy, in darkness, in loss, in things falling apart, what can we do? Sometimes we have to carry that light for people who lost it all, who cannot carry the light anymore. Sometimes we're to carry that light for others. Imagine, what does a Jewish mother do? How does a Jewish mother grieve her own baby? How does a Palestinian mother grieve the death of her own baby? I don't think there is so much difference, just the darkness, the grieving, the falling apart. And every one of us is invited to somehow hold the light where someone is struggling, where someone feels like, I don't know how to make it through this. Hold that light for someone else, carry the candle. And then there is no Christmas without, well, the birth itself. Now, I understand not a lot about birth. Like, call the midwife, that's about the degree to which I know about giving birth. But one thing I do know, that it's not all neatly wrapped up with a bow on top. Birth, giving birth, is sometimes and mostly messy, not as clean and tidied up, isn't it? It is into this mess. It's into our messy lives when we don't have it all together that love is born.